William woke up as usual at 6 in the morning. He stretched his shoulders, yawned, and immediately grabbed his phone. 17 messages in the work chat, 3 missed calls from the director. Meeting at 9, presentation at 11, partner meeting at 2 p.m. Just another day for a department head at a major company. "Want some coffee?" asked Julia, peeking into the room. "Yeah, but make it quick, Julia, I'm already late," he said, pulling on his shirt. She sighed and headed to the kitchen. William heard the cup clinking, the coffee maker hissing, but paid no attention. His thoughts were already at work. He needed to prepare the report, check the numbers, call Mitchell about the contract. As always, there was never enough time for anything. "Here you go," Julia handed him the mug. "Thanks," he replied automatically, without even looking at her. She stood nearby, as if wanting to say something, but then waved her hand and left. William downed the coffee in one gulp, grabbed his briefcase, and had already opened the door when his wife called out from the hallway. "Will, today is our wedding anniversary. Do you remember?" He froze on the threshold. Damn, it completely slipped his mind. He turned around and looked at her with a guilty expression. "Julia, I'm sorry, I have such a crazy day today. I'll definitely. We'll celebrate tonight, okay? I'll buy you flowers, some cake." "I don't need you to buy anything," she said quietly. "Just come home early. I'll make dinner." "Deal," he nodded and rushed out the door. In the car, the phone rang again. It was Valerie from accounting. "William, good morning. Listen, there's a question about the bonuses. Let's discuss it after the meeting, no time now." "You're always so busy," Valerie laughed. "All right, I'll wait. By the way, we're going to the cave for lunch today to celebrate the deal. Join us. We'll see if I have time." William smiled. "Yes, busy. Always been busy. 59 years old, 35 of them dedicated to work. He started as a simple manager, climbed the entire ladder to department head. Respect from colleagues, invitations to corporate parties, birthday gifts. Life turned out well, you could say. A wife at home, an apartment in a good neighborhood, a car, a house. Everything as it should be. The office greeted him with the usual hum of voices and the clicking of keyboards. Secretary Irene waved her hand. "William, good morning. Documents ready for signature. And the director wants to see you as soon as you arrive." "The director? What happened if—" "Don't know," he didn't say. But his voice sounded serious. William frowned. Could something be wrong with the contract? Or the numbers in the report didn't add up? He quickly walked to the director's office and knocked. "Come in," came from inside. Peter was sitting at a massive desk, flipping through some papers. He looked up and nodded toward a chair. "Sit down, William. I want to talk to you." "Did something happen?" "No, everything's fine. I'm just thinking about restructuring the department. The young people are growing up, energetic guys. Haven't you thought about passing some of your responsibilities to someone? You know, lighten your load a bit." William felt everything inside him tighten. Lighten the load. He knew what that meant. It meant they were slowly pushing him out, making room for the young ones. "Peter, I have everything under control. The department is working great, the numbers are growing." "I'm not talking about the numbers, William. I'm worried about you. You've seemed kind of tired lately. Is your blood pressure okay? Everything's fine with me. Well, all right, think about it. It's just a suggestion for now. Go on, get to work. William left the office with a heavy feeling. They're pushing him out. He clenched his fists and headed to his office. On the desk was a stack of papers, next to it a photo from last year's corporate party. The whole team together, everyone smiling. He's in the center, hand on Valerie's shoulder. Good people, William thought. Real work friends. The meeting started on time. William gave instructions, nodded, took notes. Suddenly he felt a strange heaviness in his head, as if someone had pressed down from above. He rubbed his temples, tried to concentrate. "William, can you hear me?" asked Marina from marketing. Yes, of course, continue," he muttered. But the words suddenly began to blur. The room swam before his eyes. He tried to stand up, but his legs wouldn't obey. The table swayed, and William collapsed to the floor. "William!" Irene screamed. "Someone call an ambulance." Everything that followed was like a fog. Voices, someone's hands, the siren of an ambulance. Someone unbuttoned his shirt collar, took his blood pressure. Someone held his hand. He tried to say something, but his tongue wouldn't obey. Scary. So scary that he wanted to scream, but couldn't even do that. Julia rushed to the hospital half an hour later. Her face was pale, frightened. She held his hand and said something, but he couldn't make out the words. Hospital. White walls. The smell of medicine. A doctor in glasses leaned over him. Stroke, William heard. Ischemic. Lucky they brought you in on time. We'll do a key scan now. Lucky. A strange word for what was happening to him. His left arm wouldn't move at all. Speech came with difficulty. Every word had to be squeezed out as if his tongue had turned wooden. Julia sat on a chair beside him, never leaving for a minute. She brought water, adjusted the pillow, talked to the doctors. Julia, go home, get some rest, he whispered with effort. I'm not going anywhere, she answered firmly. You think I'll leave you alone? You'll get tired. I won't get tired. Lie still, don't talk. A day passed, then another. William lay staring at the ceiling. The phone was silent. Strange, he thought, usually there were endless calls. Where was Valerie? Where was Irene? Where was Peter? Where were all those people who called him 100 times a day? Julia checked the phone, maybe someone called. She took his mobile, turned it in her hands. 2 missed calls from the director, that was on the first day. Nobody else. What do you mean nobody? He didn't believe it. Maybe you're looking in the wrong place. Well, I can see. 2 calls, that's it. Even Valerie didn't call. He turned to face the wall. A lump rose in his throat. Could it be that all these years, all these meetings, corporate parties, friendly conversations? Could all of this mean nothing? Julia put her hand on his shoulder. Don't think about it now. The main thing is to get better. The doctor said the progress is good. In a week you'll be transferred to rehabilitation. What's the difference, Julia? I'm an invalid now. Don't talk like that. You'll recover. I'll help you. Why? He suddenly asked. Why are you with me? I ruined your whole life. Always at work, never noticed you. Even today, I forgot about the anniversary. Tears streamed down her cheeks. She took his healthy hand in her palms, pressed it to her lips. Because I love you, you fool. Always loved you and always will. You'll get better and we'll live normally. Like before, when we first got married. Remember, we used to walk in the park every evening. He nodded. He remembered. Back then, everything was different. Back then he looked at her with loving eyes, held her hand, told her about his dreams. And then came the career positions meetings. And imperceptibly everything went somewhere. On the third day, a nurse peeked into the room. "You have a visitor. Should I let him in?" "Ho!" William was surprised. "A young man says he's a colleague." Julia perked up. See, they did come after all. A young guy entered the room. William didn't recognize him right away. Sam from accounting, it seemed. Or from the sales department. Couldn't remember exactly. The guy had only been working at the company for about 2 years. They hardly crossed paths. "Hello, William," said Sam, holding out a bag of fruit. "How are you feeling?" Well, as you can see, William tried to smile, but it came out crooked. "Thanks for coming. I brought documents for sick leave. Need to sign some things. And I arranged the paperwork so it would be easier for you. Irene sent them, said she didn't have time to come herself." William felt a pang of resentment. Didn't have time. Of course, everyone's busy. "Thanks, Sam. But why did you come? You must have plenty of your own business." Sam sat on the edge of the chair, hesitated. "Remember, 3 years ago you helped me get the job. I had absolutely no experience then, nobody wanted to hire me. I came for the interview, shaking with fear. And you looked at my resume and said, 'Let's try it, you'll learn.' I'm just returning the favor." William felt something tighten inside. He didn't even remember that incident. Probably hired the guy between tasks, didn't give it any significance. But for Sam it turned out to be important. "Come on, what favor?" he muttered. "If you need anything, call, don't hesitate." Sam left a business card on the nightstand. "I'm serious. Help with something, bring something. I have a car, I can go to the pharmacy, buy groceries. Call anytime." He left, and William was silent for a long time, looking out the window. "See, Will," Julia said quietly. "Not everyone forgot. Good guy. One person came," he grumbled. "Out of the whole staff, one. And only because I once gave him a job. But a real one. Better one real person than 100 fake ones." 2 days later, he was transferred to a rehabilitation center. There the classes with doctors began. He learned again to walk, hold a spoon, pronounce words clearly. Every step came with difficulty. He got angry at himself, at the doctors, at the whole world. Next to him were people just like him. A man about 60, also after a stroke. A younger woman, her right side paralyzed. "Don't worry so much," said the rehabilitation doctor. "You have good progress. Many people recover completely. How long will it take you? Depends on you. On how hard you work. Months for sure, maybe 6 months." 6 months. William imagined how much could change in that time. His place in the office would definitely be taken. Peter had hinted about restructuring. Now he had the perfect reason. Julia came every day. She brought homemade food, clean clothes, books. Seth nearby told him the news. Your sister called, asked how you were. Sent her regards. What else? Nothing special. Met neighbor Gail at the store, told her about you. She was very worried, told me to say hello. Julia, did anyone else from work call? She was silent, then shook her head. No, Will. Nobody. He clenched his fist. So that's how it is. 35 years given to the company, and they didn't even call to ask how he was. Only Sam came once. That's it. Julius saw his condition, stroked his hand. Maybe they just don't know what to say. People are afraid of illness, don't know how to deal with it. Come on, Julia. I'm just not needed by them anymore. Was a boss, was interesting. Got sick, became nobody. Don't say that. You're not nobody to me. You're my husband, father of our children, even though they're grown up now. I need you. William looked at his wife. Wrinkles around the eyes, gray hair, tired hands. How many years had she endured his constant business, his absence from home, his indifference? And now, when he'd become a burden, she didn't leave. She sits nearby, smiles, supports. Julia, I'm sorry I snap at you, he said. She looked up, surprised. What? Forgive me. For everything. For not appreciating you. For always being at work. For forgetting about the anniversary. Forgive me and thank you. For being here. Tears welled up in her eyes. She leaned down, kissed him on the forehead. I was so scared, Will. When they called me from the office, said you'd collapsed, I thought that's it, I lost you. I rode in the ambulance, prayed that you'd survive. And here you are alive. And you'll be healthy. We'll manage. He pulled her to him with his healthy arm, pressed his forehead to her shoulder. When was the last time they hugged like this? He doesn't remember. A long time ago. Very long ago. The months of rehabilitation dragged on slowly. William practiced with persistence. The doctors praised him, said he was doing great, trying hard. His arm gradually began to obey, his speech became clearer. He could already walk without a cane, though he tired quickly. One evening, Sam called. William, how are you? How's the progress? Hey, Sam. Yeah, doing okay bit by bit. Listen, I have a favor to ask. Won't you refuse it? Go ahead. My nephew, he's 18. Wants to get a job at our company. Can you recommend him? William chuckled. Sam, I don't work there anymore. But everyone knows you, respects you. Your word means a lot. Respects. Interesting, William thought, if they respect me so much, why didn't anyone call all these months? All right, Sam, I'll try to talk to Peter. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. William hung up and thought. He needed to call the director. He picked up the phone, dialed the number. Long rings. Then Peter's voice, dry and businesslike. Yes, listening. Peter, it's William. Ah, William, hello. How's your health? Thanks, better already. I wanted to talk to you. Yes, of course. I'm listening. I have a candidate for a position in the department. Smart guy, responsible. Can I recommend him? Peter was silent. William, you know we're restructuring now. We don't need new people. On the contrary, we're downsizing. I see. How are you? When are you planning to return? William gritted his teeth. Don't know yet. Doctors say I need time. Well, yes, of course. Get better, don't rush. We are managing here. Peter, is my position still available? Again a pause. Long, awkward. William, let's be frank. You understand the company can't wait indefinitely. We needed someone, we brought in Romano. He's young, energetic, doing well. So my position is gone. Well, not so categorically. We can find something else when you return. Maybe as a consultant. Consultant. William smirked. That meant they'd pushed him aside. Neatly, politely, but pushed aside. Thanks, Peter. I'll think about it. He hung up. Julia looked at him anxiously. What did he say? That they don't need me anymore. Gave my position to someone else. Will. It's okay, Julia. I understand. He lay down on the bed, stared at the ceiling. So that's it? He gave the company 35 years, and they threw him out like a used thing. Nobody called, nobody came, except Sam. And Sam came only because he was grateful for a favor done once long ago. 2 weeks later, the doctor allowed him to be discharged. You're doing great, William. Recovered excellently. Keep exercising at home, walk more. And don't stress. They rode home in silence. William looked out the window at the gray streets, at the hurrying people. Everyone's rushing somewhere, everyone's busy. Like he used to be. But now he's not rushing anywhere. There's nowhere to rush. At home it smelled of pies. Julia had baked his favorite ones with cabbage. Sit down, eat. You must have missed home cooking. They sat in the kitchen drinking tea. Rain drizzled outside the window. Julia, I want to go to the office. See how things are. Are you sure? Maybe it's too soon. Julia, I'm not an invalid. I'll just talk to the guys. She nodded, but there was worry in her eyes. The office greeted him indifferently. Irene nodded from behind the counter but didn't even stand up. William, hello. How's your health? Thanks, fine. Well, that's good. She buried herself back in the computer. William walked down the corridor. His former office. He stopped at the door, looked inside. Behind the desk sat a young guy about 30 talking on the phone, gesticulating. This must be Romano, William thought. On the desk was his old photo from the corporate party. Romano hadn't removed it, just turned it face to the wall. William, Valerie called out, coming out of the neighboring office. When did you get back? Just now. Decided to stop by. Well, how are you? Recovered. Yeah, pretty much. Well, that's great. Glad to see you. Sorry, gotta run, meeting in 5 minutes. We'll catch up, okay? Valerie patted him on the shoulder and disappeared around the corner. William slowly walked toward the asset. His head was empty. Nobody was happy to see him. Nobody really asked how he was feeling. Nobody offered coffee, didn't invite him to sit down and talk. Everyone's busy. Everyone has things to do. And he's now a stranger. Just a former employee who once worked here. Outside, he took a deep breath. The cold air burned his lungs. He suddenly felt free. A strange feeling. as if he'd dropped a heavy load from his shoulders that he'd been carrying for 35 years. All this time he thought work was the main thing. That position, status, respect from colleagues, that's what life was worth living for. But it turned out all of it was empty. Beautiful wrapping without content. At home he took out his laptop and wrote a resignation letter. Julia stood nearby, silently watching the screen. "Are you serious?" "Absolutely. What will you do?" "Don't know yet, Julia. But there's nothing left for me there. Nobody's waiting for me there." She thought, nodded. "You're probably right. Maybe it's for the best. You'll rest, regain your strength. And then you'll decide what's next." He sent the letter by email. Done. Period. 35 years ended with one button press. Several more weeks passed. William walked in the park every day, did exercises, read books he'd put off for years. Strange, but he didn't want to go back. Didn't want the office, the meetings, the reports. He seemed to have become a different person during those months. One day, walking in the park, he saw an announcement on the board. Rehabilitation Center for Stroke Survivors seeking volunteers. William stopped, reread it several times. Called the listed number. "Hello, I'm calling about the volunteer announcement." Yes, come see us, fill out the form." "When's convenient for you?" "Tomorrow, okay." "Of course, we'll be waiting." He came to the center, filled out the papers, talked with the director. An elderly woman about 60 with kind eyes and a warm smile. "William, did you yourself have a stroke?" "Yes, 6 months ago." "Then you're especially valuable to us. You'll be able to support people going through the same thing. They need an example that recovery is possible." Now he came to the center 3 times a week. Talked with people, showed exercises, told his story. And he saw hope in their eyes. They believed they could do it too. And that gave him strength. One day after class, Sam called. "William, how are you? Haven't seen you in a while." "Yeah, everything's fine, Sam. Thanks for coming to the hospital then. It was very important to me." "Come on, it was nothing." "Not nothing. Not at all nothing. You were the only one who came. You know, I'm very grateful to you. You showed me that not all people are fake." "William, I just did what I should have. You helped me once, I helped you. Maybe we can meet up. Have some tea talk." "With pleasure." They met at a cafe near his house. Sam talked about work, about new projects. William listened and was surprised how important all this used to seem. And now just words. Numbers, reports, presentations. All of it spinning and will keep spinning without him. "William, don't you regret leaving?" "You know, Sam, no. Not at all. I gave so many years to work, and in the end what? Nobody needed me there. Only you came. One person. That explained a lot to me. People just didn't know what to do, probably." "No, Sam. I just wasn't needed as a person. I was needed as a boss, as someone who solves issues, signs papers. But as a person, I wasn't interesting to them." Sam nodded. "I understand you." They sat for a long time talking. And William realized that this was real communication. Not business, not out of necessity, but simply human. With Julia, they now walked every evening holding hands. Watched old movies they once loved. She told him about neighbors, about little things from life. And he listened and was amazed how he used to let all this pass by. "Will, you've changed," she said once. "In what way?" "In a good way. You've become real. Before you were always like in a shell. And now you're just Will. My husband." He hugged her, pressed his cheek to her hair. "Julia, forgive me. For all these years. For being a bad husband. You weren't bad. You were just busy. And now you're here with me. And that's what matters." He thought about how strangely everything had turned. The stroke seemed like a catastrophe, the end of everything. But it turned out to be a beginning. The beginning of a real life, where there's no race for status, where there's no show-off and fakeness. There's Julia, who didn't leave when things got tough. There's Sam, who came just because, without any benefit. There are people at the center he helps and who are grateful to him not for his position, but for his care. William sat on a bench near the rehabilitation center. The sun was setting, painting the sky in pink and orange tones. A young nurse passed by, smiled at him. He nodded back and took a deep breath. The cool air filled his lungs, and he felt something inside expand, become free. Before, he ran all his life to be important, needed, respected. He collected positions and titles like medals. Thought that was the meaning of life. That the higher you climb, the more valuable a person you are. And when he fell, he realized it was all an illusion. Beautiful, shiny, but an illusion. The real value turned out to be in something completely different. In a quiet evening next to his wife, who endured him for 30 years and didn't leave when he became weak. In the gratitude of a young guy for whom he once did a small, insignificant kindness, and that person remembered it for life. In the smile of a person at the center whom he helped take the first step after illness and return hope. He lost a lot. A career to which he dedicated 35 years. Status that seemed so important. The illusion of friendship with people who disappeared as soon as he stopped being useful to them. But in return he gained what he hadn't seen, hadn't noticed, hadn't valued before. Real people. Real closeness. Real life where you don't have to run, prove, conform. Where you can just be yourself. Weak but alive. Not perfect but honest. William got up from the bench, slowly walked toward the park exit. Ahead, Julia was waiting for him, the dinner she was making, the evening walk before bed. Simple things he used to see no meaning in. But now he did. And he was grateful for them. The stroke stopped his body so he could finally hear his heart. And he understood that life isn't a race for success. It's those people who stay beside you when you fall. It's those moments when you feel alive, not useful. It's the ability to let go of what's killing you and accept what's saving you.